Hello YouTube, HP Zeta here today, and if my calculations are correct, today is the launch day for the PlayStation Classic. God, I dodged that bullet. Anyhow, I'm actually filming this about a week in advance. Today is the 30th of November. See here. And what I thought that we can do today is I'm going to try and build a better PlayStation Classic because I was amped. I was really stoked for the system. I really wanted a mini PlayStation because this is the first console that I really got into. Because I had a Mega Drive before then and a Famicom, but both of those we had like 3 games each. Pretty little. But the PlayStation, because you could mod it, I had quite a big selection of games at the time. My computer was far faster, but the PlayStation I had more games for. So I ended up playing the PlayStation far more than computer sometimes. So let's have a look. See, I'm gonna scoot up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. I'm nice and comfortable. So yesterday, finally, some people got their hands on this and they did a teardown. So we've got the case here, and this is the only reason I would want to get one of these after all of the controversy is the case. It looks fantastic. So let's scroll down. That looks beautiful. Even where the screws are, it's spot on. Even these little indents where the original machine had like motherboard holes that the screws went into to hold the motherboard down. This one doesn't. But they disassembled it. There's a little PCB. It's actually quite big in comparison. I thought it could have been much smaller, you know. But this one is quite big. I've got these little plates there. So they literally used a 3D mold of the original and just kind of edited it slightly and printed it off. I'm fairly sure that's why they had to like print these little inserts and things, and it's all not one unit. But they got the motherboard out, and then this is where the disappointment starts. It's running. There's a little CPU. There's the RAM. I think that's the yeah, that's a storage probably. There. Could be wrong. Okay, there's the power management IC. Power, reset, home. So yeah, they zoomed in. Yeah, that was right. That's a storage. I've got a Realtek controller here, which goes to this little EEPROM size thing here. I wondered what they wanted to put there, but I'm not sure. Unless this is probably just like a USB controller or something. But I don't think that really does much. So when we get to the meat of the system, it's running a MediaTek system on a chip. It's a quad core. It runs at 1.4 gigahertz. They don't actually say in here. Okay, but if you actually search this, you'll find a page of the exact megahertz for it, which isn't bad. It has a gigabyte of memory and 512 megabytes of RAM, so that's 1 gig of RAM in total, at a maximum of 1866. They don't actually run it at this because the processor is slower. Okay, and then finally 25. Well, where's the SD? Let's scroll down. I think that's they don't mention it on this particular page, but nonetheless, there's 16 gigabytes of space thanks to the Samsung. I think that's a NAND. That's right there. So it has some space. It's not much. It's very little. But I was expecting that. So my original video, I actually thought that they were using like 16. So looking at this, I kind of thought that we can do something better. And I know a lot of you might not have followed the controversy. But one of the main reasons I think we can do better is that they found out that it actually doesn't use a proprietary emulator by Sony. It uses PCSX2 rearmed. Okay, and that's not great. So I thought, let's take one of those single board computers, either Orange Pi or a Raspberry Pi, and let's build our own version. And what we're going to be using is a RetroPie. So I'll just show you that. Here's RetroPie here. Okay, and then if it's an orange pie I decide to go with, we're going to use Retro Orange Pie. And please don't worry, I don't use this cancer that is Edge at all. I don't use this browser. It's just because this doesn't have my favorites on top, so you guys can't see my favorites, that I'm actually using that. Okay, so we're going to use one of these two. And the reason why I'm going to use is, let's see if there's some documentation on there. This one as well. About, I think it has it. About page. Okay, so Retro Orange Pie. Here's a list of the emulators. Okay, so let's see what they're using here for PlayStation. Okay, it says PlayStation. It doesn't say what they are using, but I know for a fact that it's PCSX2. We've already like tested it, and I know what it's running. It's running the not PCSX2, PCSX rearmed. It's running the exact same thing as what the PlayStation Classic is running. So yeah, that's one of the key things here. I want to see if this actually does the documents, emulators. Okay, let's go here to PlayStation. PlayStation. Oh, it even has listed PlayStation 2, but the system is not fast enough to run that. So yeah, PCSX rearmed, and it's the IR version, which is, it's fine. It'll work. Okay, and this is basically based on that. So it'll have the exact same thing. You also get Beetle PSX. Never heard of that. I don't know how it will perform. We can probably test it, but I'm just gonna stick to PCSX on. Let's see what they say. The Beetle Magnafin PSX core is not available for systems with ARM CPUs. Okay, in other words, we want it. Okay, so basically, it's PCSX rearmed or the LR version. I think that's for binary filtering or something. Whatever. So yeah. Yeah. So let me show you what you'll need, and then we'll get back to showing you what software you need and how to get the software. I've already showed you the two main sites to download most of the software, but yeah. Right, so let's quickly have a look at all of the things that you need and all of the options that's available, because really there's a lot of options that you've got with this, and there's a lot of alterations and choices you can make. But I'm just going to give you guys a rough breakdown of some of the popular choices and what I would choose in the situation. So the first thing that you will need is one of these single board computers. And with these I basically broke it down to two camps. These are based upon availability and things that I've got at hand that I can show you, and also just on price. At the end of the day, the PlayStation Classic is like $150, so we need to make sure when we choose something that we like hit that price point, and that we can actually beat it. So like I said, I split it into two camps, and that's going to be your Raspberry Pis and your Orange Pis. So what I've got here is a Raspberry Pi Zero and an Orange Pi Lite. So I'm just going to go through the other ones in the series, and you can make up your own mind on choosing whichever one's the best for you. So let's start off with the cheapest solution, and that's getting one of these Raspberry Pi Zeros. This one doesn't even have Wi-Fi, so it's a bit more difficult to get ROMs and stuff on here, but you're going to need like a dongle that converts micro USB to standard USB. It has HDMI mini, so these are very difficult to hook up at the end of the day, so I won't recommend going for one of these. And then you look at the actual specs, and this one has a single 900 megahertz processor on there. but they're $7, or they're supposed to be $7. By the time you get them, it's about $9 for one, and they're just a little bit too slow for this. You can, of course, if you do go the Raspberry Pi route, I would highly recommend just going out, getting the Raspberry Pi 3 Plus, either in the A or B format, so it doesn't matter which. The A format basically just has one USB, the B format has two USBs. It has slightly more memory on the B as well, but both of them have like Bluetooth and Wi-Fi built in, and the boards are a little bit bigger. The only thing with those is, if you do get them, I'd recommend buying them from one shop with a power supply and a case, so that you know A, the case will fit properly, and B, the Raspberry Pis are extremely picky on power supply, so you need to make sure you've got the right power supply for it, not just a random power supply, you know. So I wouldn't go for the Raspberry Pi Zero, but yeah, I'll definitely go for the Raspberry Pi 3. So that's your first choice, the Raspberry Pi 3. And the Raspberry Pi 3 is also a 64-bit processor. I think it's also like quad-core 1 GHz or 1.2 GHz, somewhere around there. Lots of performance. This one will probably give you the exact same looking graphics as the PlayStation Classic. The only difference is it'll actually take quite long to boot, so I won't recommend going for this due to all of the intrinsities relating the Raspberry Pi Zero, and the fact that these are still quite hard to find. So those are the Raspberry Pis covered, and then let's talk about the Orange Pis, these guys here. So I'll have a link in the description for this exact one that I've got. But if you go have a look at the Orange Pi series, they've also got a Zero. It's about half the size of this. The catch of their version of the Zero is it doesn't have any HDMI out. It does it over AV. And you need like a breakout board to power it and to get video output, to get audio output. So I won't recommend getting one of those unless you want to run it on a CRT. The plus side is it's about $9, so it's about the same as one of these. But you can run it absolutely fine on a CRT, so if you were running a CRT I would recommend that. And the plus side is quad-core CPU, 1.6 GHz, I think it was 1.3 or 1.6 thereabout. So they're a lot more robust performance-wise than the Raspberry Pi Zero. So you look at then at the rest of the series, and then you've got these two stood out for me, which is the Lite, okay, and then they've got the Orange Pi 1. The only difference is the Lite comes with Wi-Fi, the Orange Pi 1 comes with Ethernet, and they're both extremely cheap, and you can get them in a kit that includes this nice case, power supply, and the actual unit itself, and they're like $14, and that's what I'm going to be using today as one of these. So in terms of which one to get, if money wasn't a problem, go get the Raspberry Pi 3 Plus, the B version. If you're a bit on a budget, then get the Orange Pi. And the only difference when installing the software is the Raspberry Pi uses normal RetroPie, and then the Orange Pi actually uses a Retro Orange Pi. So yeah, it has its own OS, and I'll show you guys how to download and install that. So once you've got the microcomputer that you want to use, you need a micro SD card with it. Now, the PlayStation Classic comes with a 16 GB, so I'm using a 32 GB. So it's twice the size. The difference is we're probably going to have to like squeeze, we put 20 games on here. It's probably going to be a tight fit, because I'm sure that some of the games they chose deliberately because it's quite small ISOs, that they're not that big, and when I choose my own games it's going to be bigger, so that's why I went for a 32 GB card. Now this is the absolute minimum that you can get, and I definitely recommend, if you do go for one of these, you get like a 128 gig, so that you can install not just PlayStation games, but NES, Genesis, all of those. Then you're of course going to need a computer with internet access. If you do have one of these with Wi-Fi, you are going to need a keyboard, because you do need to connect this to Wi-Fi, type in your password and stuff. So you will need a keyboard of some sort. So any normal USB keyboard will work. I've just got one of these little mini ones. It works for me. doesn't give me much hassle, so I just use one of those. And then the final thing that you're going to need is you're going to need a controller of some description. Now, this all depends on what you want and how you want to play. So you need to ask yourself the question, what's the best thing to get? All of the examples I'll show you now will work. Basically, any controller that has normal USB input will work absolutely fine, and then the machine will detect it. And if you get a PlayStation Classic, they'll give you one of these. Of course, not with PlayStation connector, but actually with USB on that side. But you'll get one of these. And yeah, it has some issues. A lot of the games are 3D, so you need the analog sticks. This was the first revision controller that came with the machine, so this was all the way in like 94 whenever the machine was launched. You got one of these, and they're a bit of a pain, especially for 3D games. So later on they released the classic that we all know, which is the DualShock, that there. And you'll see that that actually has like the analog sticks and stuff. So yeah, don't know why I'm showing you this upside down though. So it has like the analog sticks, analog button to select on and off the analog sticks, and these really that's the best thing to play PlayStation 1 games on. Still is one of these. But we are building our own, so we've got a lot of options. The first thing is you can get the arcade stick with the buttons. Mine's just too big to actually fit on frame, so I don't have it on the table, but those work absolutely perfectly. You can get one of those. So if you're building your PlayStation 1 and you're like filling it up with arcade games, get an arcade stick and Bob's your uncle. You can use that. That'll work fine. But most of us will actually go out and get our PlayStation to play like 3D games like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, that sort of stuff. So to play all of that, you're going to need another DualShock. So this is a DualShock 3, it's a Bluetooth. So what's nice is if you have a Raspberry Pi B+, this just connects to the Bluetooth, off you go. There's not much to it. If you do have an Orange Pi, you can just connect it via USB, it also works via that, or plug in a Bluetooth dongle and do the setup and that'll work. And these work well. You can get the generics, which I'll link in down below, for like $8, the wired version, so you don't have to worry about Bluetooth and that. So I'll include a link down below to buy those. And that's normally what I would suggest if you're building one of these for the first time, that this is what you get to play with. But there's even more options. We can go for one of these cell phone controllers that also has LNR, 2 analog sticks, all the buttons in the world that you can need. These work fine. Okay, you can plug it in via USB. It has a little USB at the bottom there, so if you don't have Bluetooth, plug it in via USB. That works. Internal built-in rechargeable battery, so you don't have to worry about charging it. If you have some other consoles hanging around, this one is in very bad shape, but I'm using it as an example. But you can get like wired Xbox controllers, plug that in, that'll work no problem. If you actually do want to run out and get something new, I would suggest you go check out what 8BitDo has. This is their one. 2 shoulder buttons, exactly what we need. All of the other buttons, 2 analogs. These do click, so they're absolutely perfect, and it's nice and compact. So if you want a unit that you can like take around with you, I recommend getting these. They've got the ST3 Pros as well, which is like a little bit thicker. I know a lot of people don't like the Allen buttons on these. They're a bit close for L2 and L3, or L1 and L2, sorry. So they're a little bit close for that, but for me, with my size hands, these work well, because I can like put my finger across it and then I can do that or that, and then I can push either one of the two with absolutely no hassle whatsoever. So we've got like tons and tons and tons of options. Now for me, I want the most authentic experience possible, so I'm gonna grab my DualShock, which you guys, this is the one that I did in the refurbishing video, and I bought one of these years ago from Deal Extreme, and this is just like a USB to PlayStation adapter. All you do, you plug it in like that, plug that into the machine, and then this will actually work perfectly on a Raspberry Pi or a Retro Orange Pi or whichever single board computer you decide to go with. So that's what I'm going to be doing, because it gives me 2 outputs, and I can even like plug in the original not that I'm going to, but I can plug this in and that'll work as well. I've got a few of these, so I can do like 2-player and stuff, and it gives me a bit more of an authentic feel when I'm playing my games, and that's what's important is the feel of the games. So yes, lots and lots of options there, and that's all you need really. I'm going to include links for everything down below, but like you can probably get everything for like $50. I'll do a total at the end of the video, but yeah, $50, you're all set. Right, so the first thing that you're going to need is this is going to be basically the same whether you choose a Raspberry Pi or you choose an Orange Pi. You go to the two different websites. You go either to RetroPie or you go to Retro Orange Pi. Both of them the same sort of thing. You're just going to go down here to download page. We're now going to scroll down. So you've got a few options here that you can choose for. So we can choose on top here the Slim Plus image, which is still work in progress, and this is more for the Retro Stone. I can care less. You've got the Slim package, which isn't as slim as the Slim Plus. Okay, and if you scroll down a little bit, got the full version. Now, the full version has much better themes and stuff, but the emulators are about the same. So what I'm going to choose here is I'm going to choose the Slim, because I don't care about the themes. The themes will just take up more space on my SD card and I can put less games on it and less save states. So I'm going to go here to Slim. I'm going to choose my Orange Pi. I think that's the light. So let's see if that one's there. Orange Pi 1 is the light. Click on that. Click save. That's busy downloading. Then we're going to go here to Etcher. We just go here, detecting OS. Okay, we're going to grab Etcher, which is the best way to write these images. Okay, and the last thing you're going to need, but I absolutely refuse to tell you where to find this website. I will not tell you where you can get these. Okay, you're going to need some BIOS files. Now you can extract your own BIOS files from your consoles. I've done so in the past with mine. I actually own the machines that I'm downloading these BIOSes for. But the free BIOSes that we need is the 5000 series, 5500 series. So you see here, 5501 NTSC, NTSC-J, and PAL. So those are the free that we need for our project, and we need all free. If you do not have the correct BIOS, what will happen is the system will use the internal HLE BIOS, and then that just won't work. It won't work as expected. That's a 5500. I'm just gonna that is one we need. So we need the 5500, 5501, 5502. So I'm grabbing those. Okay, and that's all the software you need. The rest of the software is you need your game. So that you need to figure out where to download them from, because I'm not going to tell you where to download them from. And then you need to find your own games and you need to install them. And yeah, basically I'm going to, because I want to do this as legal as possible in the grander scheme of things, I'm going to use my original games, which I'll spice in a little bit to show you what games I've got. I'm going to choose 20 games from there. I'm going to install it onto the system, and I'm going to play the games like that. So this will take quite a while to download, especially seeing as we're downloading it through Edge. I probably shouldn't, but it is going through there. And then I'll quickly show you how you do the configuration, how you do the setup. So yeah, I'll see you back in a second. Right, so you've done your downloads. Okay, you've got your BIOS files. You managed to find them all by yourself, because I did not help you at all. And you've got your image. You've also already installed Etcher. So there's our Etcher, that's ready. But before we can do anything, we just quickly need to extract Retro Orange Pi. So I'm using WinRAR to extract, but you can use anything else. Whew, bless you. Whew. Oh. It must be from like Edge. Edge gave me AIDS. Oh. Okay. Nonetheless, we've got that extracted. There's a little README file here. Okay. Yeah, that's just a EULA. Do not distribute. Whatever, I'm not making it. So fine. So we've got that. We're going to select open. Okay, we're going to go to where we saved all of our files. And there's our image. It will automatically detect. Now remember, if you've got a Raspberry Pi, download the one from RetroPie. If you've got a Orange Pi, download Retro Orange Pi. So we're just going to select that. We're going to insert our micro SD card, whichever size we want. If you don't see it here, just insert it and make sure you check it. And we're just going to click the flash button. It's going to ask for administrative privileges. I'm going to click yes. Ooh, that kind of freaked. Ooh, that freaked. that kind of freaked out. Yeah, that completely freaked out OBS. But nonetheless, we clicked OK. It's now burning the image. I'm just going to splice in the clip when I restart OBS. Alright, welcome back. It's almost finished. Yeah, OBS called a easy fit to Windows account, user account control. Kind of freaked it out. Nonetheless, I just clicked finish there, so it starts its thing. I'm waiting for it to go through. And what's nice about Etcher is it does the verification as well. So you don't have to worry about that. It just does everything you want it to do. Painless. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for this to complete, and it needs to say successful there. Once that's completed, I'm going to take this out, plug it into my Orange Pi, plug the Orange Pi into my capture card, and I'll record the first startup. And what's important with Orange Pi is the first time you start it up, it's going to take long. Give it some time. Let it do its thing. It needs to do its thing. It's going to take a while. It needs to expand the SD cards, do the setup, that sort of stuff. So you just like let it be, let it do its thing until it's done. Right, so you got everything. We just finished flashing our micro SD card. Let's put everything back together, shall we? So we're just gonna grab that out. So all of these has a little micro SD slot. Just plug that in like that. I'm going to grab my dongle for my keyboard because I'm going to need that to type in the Wi-Fi settings. I'm going to need my PlayStation adapter. It's here. Now I don't know which port here is which, so we'll have to figure that out. Plug that in. Okay, and that's all. So we need to plug in power and our HDMI, and it should start automatically. So always plug in your HDMI first and then your power. And then, yeah, it should do its thing. So I'm going to go to the capture card and I'm going to see if I can capture this starting up for you. Alright, so I just plugged it in and you can see there's like stuff happening on the screen and things. I've got my capture software actually set up incorrectly. So let's quickly see if I can fix that while we wait for this to boot. Property, resolution 720. And also I need to go to filters and just remove the game. Yeah. Go. Did not remove the scaling. The scaling concentration. Move that. Yes. Ah, there we go. That's doing its thing. Like I said, it starts up and it does a configuration thing and it does its thing. You give it a few minutes and it should work. I'm actually doing this real time, so it'll take a little while for it to start up. There you go, something's happening. So what it's doing in the segment is it's actually resizing the partition size, because when you write one of those images to a machine, it's only like 1 gigabyte, 650, no, it's 1.8 gigabyte, and it writes that whole thing to the system. And what it needs to do is it needs to scale everything up so it uses the full SD card size, but nonetheless. So you can see it started now, and it says 2 gamepads connected, press the A button. So now we're doing the configuration, so I'm just going to make sure my analog is enabled. So up, down, left, right, start, select. Now unfortunately, this is actually configured for like an Xbox pad, so it has like A instead of X and triangle, whatever, but it does say east, south, north. No. So east, south, north, west, left shoulder, right shoulder, left trigger, right trigger, left thumbstick. So this is pressing down, if I'm not mistaken, so very carefully press that, very carefully press that. Okay, left, up, down, left, right, right, up, down, left, right. Okay, and we don't have a hotkey on this thing to press, so I'm just going to skip that just by holding down the A button. Fine. Okay, we can then press A again. Okay, you don't choose a hotkey, this is for exiting game. You want to use the select button default. Yes, please. Okay, so yeah, it started. So you can already see quite a few of the systems it supports straight from the get-go. There's Super NES. Now that little line across the screen, that's my capture card. That's not actually the device. But we've got like setup. The one we're interested in is PlayStation. You can just look at how nice this menu actually looks. And it does say, what's interesting, 1 game's available. So what does this come with? That doesn't come with anything. Okay, so Sony, PSP, the PSP ports don't work well on this. There's ports, there's Nintendo, there's Neo Geo, N64, Mega Drive, all of these systems we can emulate. So, let's go here to RetroPie, configuration. I'm just going to go down here to RetroPie Wi-Fi, right at the bottom. And I'm just going to type in my Wi-Fi configuration settings, so we've got Wi-Fi access. Okay. Edit, activate. Let's go to edit connection first. No, let's go to activate connection. No, none of these do anything. Let's just try on my keyboard quickly. You have the keyboard here. Let's press enter on edit connection. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to type in my Wi-Fi credentials here. I'm just going to stop it here, type it in, and then I'm going to disconnect my keyboard. You actually notice it's a different keyboard. The one I showed you, I can't find a toggle for it, so let's just stop here. So you can see I'm now connected, so I'm just going to say quit. Okay, so we're back at the main menu. I don't need this anymore, so I can actually reach over, and hopefully this won't reboot the Pi, because it sometimes will. There we go, rip that out. Oh, my capture card definitely didn't like that, nonetheless. The analog is on, because remember, if analog goes off, your up and down buttons stop working. And then you have to like use other things to do it, but nonetheless. Okay, so back. Okay, so we're all ready here. So what we're going to do quickly now is just connect to the actual device. Okay, so we're back here. I just want to like move this so that I can use my mouse again. So you can see we're still connected here. I'm just going to go to my second screen quickly. Okay, and now we can actually connect to it. Because it's on the network, we can now connect to it. So I just want to create a new window here. So the host name is this Whackback Retro Orange Pi. And once you click on that, automatically there's all of the files on the system. So you can go into configuration, you can go into BIOS, and you can do your installation from here. So the first step you want to do when you're done here is you're going to go to BIOS, and then you're just going to copy over the PlayStation BIOSes that we've got. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is the correct place to put it because it doesn't have like a directory here for PlayStation, so I'm fairly sure you just dump it into the master one. Machines. Oh wait, here's the machines. Let's see. MSX, MSX. No, Sony PlayStation. Okay, I'm fairly sure. Just take these three, and we're just going to dump that. And yeah, if I'm wrong, I can always just put a whole thing up that says that I'm wrong and you have to change it. You can also go into configuration here. You can go into PlayStation PSX, and you can actually set the retro arch and stuff directly from here. You can change your setting. So here's your input mapping, and you include. You can go into emulators. Yeah, let's see what's there. And this is what it uses. Use that allow PCSX VR. Okay, which is fine. So I'm sure by now you want to know how do you actually get your games on here. And the answer is simple. You just go into the ROMs directory. You go into PSX. Okay, and you can see here, add ROMs to play. So you need a bin and a queue file. So what I like to do is I like to use image burner, and then I'm going to say create image from disk, and I'm just going to use this to actually create images from my games. Just make sure that it's in a bin and a queue file. So when you select here, you can say ISOs, you want it in bin. And it will automatically create a queue file when it creates a bin file. So I'll be using this to create all my images, and that will go into this directory. So join me in a little bit after I'm done copying over all of my games. This is going to take a while. Sorry for the bad light, but I just want to show you game-wise. I've got quite a modest collection of PlayStation 1 games that I'm going to be selecting my games from. So I'll probably have a nice list for you when we're done with the video, and I'll tell you what I put in. Right. So for the last 2 days I've been uploading the games and stuff. So everything is there. I'm happy with the end result. I also tried some different versions of Retro Orange Pi to see if I could get a bit of better speed. And it turns out that you really need a fast micro SD card for things to work properly. So what we've got now at this stage is already something that, in my opinion, will knock the socks off of the PlayStation Classic. Because if we go here to PlayStation, we've got a far better selection of games. So I'm just going to run through some of the games that I added on here. So I've added Abe's Odyssey, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Chrono Cross, Cool Borders, Crash Bandicoot, Crash Bandicoot 2, Crash Bandicoot 3, Crash Team Racing, Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8, Final Fantasy 9, Gran Turismo 2, Gran Turismo 1, Jumping Flash, Klonoa, Medieval, Metal Gear Solid, Mortal Kombat, Parasite Eve 2, Parasite Eve 1, Rayman, Rayman 2, Resident Evil 3. I think I've got Resident Evil 1, 2 on here somewhere as well. Silent Hill, Spyro 1, Spyro 2, Spyro 3. So all the Spyros, Tail Concerto, got that too. Tony Hawk's, Twisted Metal, and Wipeout. So basically, we have a far better selection of games and a far better archive. I just want to show you guys what one of the games look like, and we'll quickly do a quick demo, and then we'll start tweaking this. So, what's a good example? I want something that has some. Let's do the FMV thing quickly, and then I'll go back and choose a different game. So let's take like Final Fantasy 9 as a very good FMV. Now, I really hope that there's no clicking in this, because I had to use like my capture software. Because for some reason OBS just doesn't want to record directly from the device. It makes like popping and clicking sounds. So just gonna push the volume up, and I'll show you guys what we've got so far. FMV's nice and smooth. No, so this is actually a bad example of FMVs, because I had Final Fantasy, but it got released. The FMVs had an audio sync for Final Fantasy 9. But anyway, there's actually like a patch you can find to fix that. And we're using a dual shot. Let's start. I can't skip this. So you can see FMVs are absolutely smooth. So let's try something a bit different. Let's try Spyro 2. And this is what it'll look like on the PlayStation Classic. No filters, no nothing. You can definitely see that the games have aged quite a bit. Just to check out the texture on Spyro, all static.
We should go on vacation, somewhere warm, somewhere sunny.
Just gonna skip these, and then we'll get into the first part of the customization. And so I'm using Orange Pi Lite for this, which is definitely not the right thing, but you'll notice first of all is your analog sticks don't work. So that's the first little customization you want to do. So if you press select and triangle, you'll get into RetroArch. So from here you can go into options, and we can start like changing things. Let's just first get the controller working, and I'm just going to enable what do you call it, FPS, so I can see how fast it's going. So we're using an analog stick. Okay, back. And then also I just want to go into the main settings, video settings. And I'm just going to enable show if display frame rate. Okay, and then select triangle to close it again. And as you can see, nice 50 frames per second. Doesn't dip or anything, it's absolutely perfect. So let's start with some of the other things. Now, ideally for PlayStation 1 emulation, I would suggest getting a Raspberry Pi 3 Plus, but you know, if you don't have money, you don't have money. So we're going to go here to quick menu. Video options. Sorry, not video options. And now we can start messing around with some of the settings. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to enable resolution, enhanced resolution, and enhanced resolution speed up. Now what this will do is it'll upscale the video at the cost of speed. Now with the speed up 95% of the time when you enable it, it should be fine. But unfortunately my little thing, you can see it does a little bit affect the frame rate here. We're down to 49.5 and it does dip around a little bit. So if you are using a Raspberry Pi 2, this will actually be as stable as can be. Oh, sorry, a Raspberry Pi 3. So that's why I definitely would recommend you guys get one of those and not go this route. But the game like this is still more than playable. It just looks like a million times better. But you do get a little bit of slowdown every now and then. So I'm just going to go back quickly. I'm going to disable that for now. The other thing you can do here, okay, is if you go down here, show BIOS logo. This does break compatibility in some games, but let's see if it works here. So to exit, start select. But before we do that, we can then take loads. We can take save states and stuff in game as well. What I found is the easiest way to do that is to use the triangle buttons. So if you have select L down, R is create a save state, L is load a save state, so you can create save states and stuff like that. So, oops. Of course, one of the like exit. Okay, one of the biggest draws of this is you don't just have to do PlayStation stuff. So let's just go back into our Spyro 2 now that I've got it set to display the BIOS. Let's see if this works. It's loading the call. Oh yeah, classic. And unfortunately, in this one, it doesn't support it. You can see that it doesn't work 100%. So select triangle, and we're just going to disable that setting. But in some of the other games, you can configure that and you can enable it and set it to work with some quick menu, BIOS options. So we're going to now go, where was it? Show BIOS animation, turn that off. Select triangle, start select to go back to the main menu. Go back in. And it works fine again. Just remember that does break compatibility for some games. You can test and see which ones work and which ones don't. Personally, I don't think that's a big deal if that thing is missing, but we are going to change one little thing just now. I want to show you the save states in action, so we can see that that works. And I also just want to try some of the shaders. I haven't personally tried them yet, but I want to see if we can get like scan lines going. Even though for video recording, scan lines doesn't always show up properly. So I'm holding down select and I'm pressing R, so it's created a save slot. If you actually hold select a triangle, you can access all of the save slots. So select on left again, and there you go, instantly. Save state work. Okay, let's go select triangle again. I want to try go in here. You can see here's the rest of the save slate, so I can select which slot I want. Unlimited slots. Okay, save state, load state, we can change all of that, but shaders, okay, load shader preset. I just want to see if any is here. I don't have any shaders actually installed on here, but this is another thing that you can play around with, and you can load some shaders and stuff. Ooh. Ooh. So I'm sure you can get like, what's the name working? Yeah, this absolutely works perfectly. There's a few more things that you want to do in customization. So I'm just going to quit this quickly. So you'll notice that this looks like extremely bland. I'm going to turn down the volume again here. There we go. So this looks extremely bland. Everything you say is unknown and stuff there. So if you press start, you go to scraper. Scrape now. So scraper. Only missing images, system selected. I'm just going to leave it as all because we don't have anything installed on there. Select all, start. Just go for it. Okay, so scraping multiple arcade. Skip this one. Skip this. Skip that. Nintendo 64. Skip that. Neo Geo. Skip that. NES. Skip that. For now, I'm gonna skip the ports. Skip ports. Skip Quake. Skip PlayStation Portable. Here we go. So the first one here, definitely don't have triple play. Don't know where it gets that. Is Castlevania. So we want Castlevania. Going across, okay, it's probably because I don't have a space in there. Cool Borders, definitely we've got Cool Borders 4. Crash Bandicoot. And I'm just going to do this now for all of them. It's going to take a little while and I'll show you guys what the end result is. Right, so welcome back. I scrapped most of these. I did make one or two mistakes. So now this thing looks absolutely amazing. So we can see when the game was released, who developed it. We can see what genre it is, how many players it has. We can see like everything we need to. Even some basic information for it. So look how beautiful this is compared to the crappy PlayStation Classic menu. But I'm not done yet. So let's hit select. Let's hit start. And go into other settings, I think it was. Let's see. No, it's not other settings. Oh, but in other settings you can select so it shows frame rate. So I'm just going to select that. UI settings, screen settings, theme. There's like several themes you can choose from. I like this Hyperion one. Start on system. I want this to go directly to my PlayStation. Sound settings. You can select your game collections, UI, screensavers. Let's see what we've got here. We've just got like dim, black, random video, slideshow. This is slideshow. Okay, game collection. So there's one other thing I need to try here, but I think this needs a newer version because I see this one doesn't actually have that setting. Unless it's... There we go, splash screen. So the first thing you need to do here is we just need to go into our retro orange Pi. Got that here. Splash screen, I'm just going to put a new splash screen in here. So let's see if we can fix this. So if we go to splash screen, choose splash screen, own extra splash screen, and I'm going to go max res. Okay. And then I'm just going to click OK. And then we're quickly going to reboot this. It's downloading extra splash screens. So we can see what splash screens is available. Might as well. I accidentally hit download, so. Go in here, new, extra large. These are all of the splash screens you can choose from. But I chose something a little bit different, and you'll see now. Here's a nice PlayStation one. See what that looks like. You can have that. And Doom-like ones. Need OK there. I'm just going to go to cancel. So I did change it. Hopefully it saved it. So at the moment I'm going to say that. But I'm just restarting the whole thing because I don't know where that splash screen is actually loaded. But let's see if that worked. Push the volume up a little bit here for you guys to hear. Isn't that much better? Of course, you can change the theme songs and stuff for yourself. But, I'm just gonna mute this for now. Okay. Stick my analog on, and there's my games, and that's it, guys. That's all you need to do. So what I'll do is I'll wait a second or two, and then I'll come back and I'll show you guys the games and that, and then we'll play some games and see what they're like. Just look at that glorious screensaver it has. That's pretty awesome. So let's test some games. I mean, that's what we're here for, right? Problem is I need to choose games that won't get me copyright strike. Which the music in the background definitely isn't helping. But let's just take some Crash Team Racing. Where's my engine? Sony Computer Entertainment America production.
Fasten your seatbelts for another Naughty Dog creation.
This is one game I'm really surprised I didn't add into the PlayStation Classic. What I like is it creates a memory card for every game that you play, so it's only like 128k. No, it's less than that. The PlayStation 2 was 128. The PlayStation 2 was 1 meg. Yeah, it's 128k in size.
Welcome to the Adventure Arena. You can travel around this area and practice your driving skills. The dots and stars on the map represent warp pads.
So let's see if we push up the resolution on this one about the performance droppers and if it's if it's okay to play it like that. Okay. And control pad unroll. Okay. You can hear the clickiness in the sound, so clearly this one is not good enough on this little Orange Pie Classic. Do that's fine. I'm sure you guys want to see frame rate as well. That's what happens if you're not confident in your controller. I need to get used to the enter on this is actually the O button instead of the X button, so I need to get used to that. So I prematurely restarted there. But it's all part of testing. I wanted to go in here.
Start your engines for Sony Computer Entertainment America production. Fasten your seatbelts for another Naughty Dog creation.
Surprised that Sony didn't include this in their collection. That's weird. Booga booga.
Welcome to the Adventure Arena. You can travel around this area and practice your driving skills. The dots and stars on the map represent warp pads, which lead to races. When they flash, it signifies they are open to play. To access a racetrack, drive onto a warp pad that has an active warp vortex, and it will take you to the track start line. Finish a track in first place to win a trophy. As you collect more trophies, other tracks will turn on and open to you. Good luck, and drive fast.
Smooth as butter. Spot the game I haven't played much of. And what's the best thing of this, all of this, is the vibration motor in my controller does actually work. So that's just like the cherry on top. And you guys should just like take my word for it. Let's see if I put it on the... it doesn't make enough noise, but the vibration motor does actually work, which is freaking awesome. I really didn't think it was going to. Give me a Cortex. Bear in mind I'm playing with latency and stuff because it's going through a capture card. Not that that'll improve my driving, I'm just saying. No idea what those potions do. So I'll say that works perfectly.
Congratulations, you win a trophy. The more Wampa fruit you collect, the faster your cart will go. If you...
Okay, sorry, just had to go fetch something, but let's play something else. Ooh. Better choose something. I'm gonna get a lot of copyright claims on this video. Lots and lots of copyright claims. I'm okay with that. Channel is not monetized. Jump, shoot, jump. Okay. Yeah, I just want to see if this is a good game to increase the resolution with. Ideally, you really should play this with a... What? Oh. You really should play this with a Raspberry Pi, please. You can enable these without getting a knock on performance. You can hear the music stuttering there. I'm losing about 3 frames per second. Oh, I'm losing about half. So definitely a bad game to do that on. Oh, this game is an analog, okay. Got a perfect culprit. Huh? Come on. Hit me that. No, that didn't work. You can see it's a smooth frame rates throughout. Let's try something a bit more. Let's try some 2D. Konami. Back when Hideo Kojima still worked. And they weren't complete assholes to everything. I think this one we need to set to a non-analog controller. I pressed start and nothing happened. There we go. Another game that really should have been on the PlayStation Classic. I mean, yeah. So this is all 2D. I want to see if I can upscale this. And this is set all frames per second. Okay. 60 frames per second. See, this you can upscale and it doesn't look too bad.
Die, monster! You don't belong in this world.
I don't? Oh
It was
no.
not by my hand that I'm once again given flesh. I was called here by humans who wish to pay me tribute.
Tribute? You steal men's souls and make them your slaves.
Perhaps the same could be said of all religions.
Basically.
Your words are as empty as your soul. Mankind ill needs a savior such as you.
is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets. But enough talk. How about you?
I don't remember what was use item. There we go. Have to intimidate. Give me all the zodiac animals. Thank you. Oh wait, nothing's like hurting me. Okay. I guess I've got invulnerability for a few seconds. This is a good example of a game that you can upscale quite easily. Pixels look absolutely phenomenal. Lucifer, what have you done? It's supposed to be Dracula, not Satan. I will smack you in the balls. Enjoy your ball smacking goodness. Thanks and vulnerability. This is where the upscaler does actually struggle, as with the cutscenes. So you can hear that stuttering. But we defeated Dracula. That's the end of Castlevania. What else is there to do in Castlevania? Let's try some Rayman. That's another nice 2D. Oops. Rayman! Yeah, this is actually on the PlayStation Classic, so enable Rayman. I could probably just save this as a default, but I'm too lazy. Configuration. Put that side. Quick menu. We'll keep the upscaling enabled. Because it's Rayman, it should work. Ubisoft, okay. I found an incompatible game. Now this could be just my bad drip, so my disk is faulty or whatever. So not really the end of the world. Let's try Rayman 2. Because I did rip these from original discs, so maybe the discs are faulty, you know. They were pretty scratched and there was lots of bad sectors. Because you expect some games to have copy protection, so they're designed to have bad sectors, but some not so much. This is a 3D game, so let's just go in and pushing upscaling. And then after this, I think I'll play some Crash 3, because that's always been a struggle for emulators. And then we'll call it then I'll give my final thoughts. Rayman 2 is not one of the games that I ripped myself, by the way. Oh, I forgot how many cutscenes this game had. So once again, on analog stick, we just have to go enable that. Maybe I had to like bust through or something. Once again, force feedback is working and it's doing an absolute phenomenal job. I'm just trying to figure out how can I make you guys hear that it's working. So I'm going to push the controller against the mic the next time there's a lot of vibration. Let's see if I remember this correctly. No, it doesn't. Okay, let's try something that I know has some vibration to it. Wipeout should, but I need to mute the music. Sorry guys. In 1995, I can't remember, was this analog compatible? I can't remember if it was. Yeah, this isn't analog compatible, but it does work. You guys can see that. What else? So let's do Rayman 2 again. Okay, so I've got the controller now on top of the microphone. But do I have... Analog is enabled. Vibration is on. But of course now I want to test it. Come on. Back is try. Let's pick. Now the vibration, of course, isn't. But I want to show you that it does work. You just have to take my word for it. Vibration works. Let's just take Crash Bandicoot as our last game.
A Universal Interactive Studios production. A game created and developed by Naughty Dog.
Skip the training mission.
Crash.
Oh no, I accidentally destroyed the box without picking it up. I'm not going to get all of the apples. Oh, that'll be terrible. So the reason I'm testing this is because Connectix Virtual Game Station and Bleem used to have a lot of issues emulating this. Yeah, I think this works great. Okay, so let's do my final thoughts on this. So, basic premise was, can you make a better PlayStation Classic than the one Sony released? And if all you're going for is the looks, no. You won't ever recreate that case absolutely perfectly. Even with 3D printing, it'll look 3D printed. You can sand it off, spray paint it, and try to make it look better, but at the end of the day, it's still going to look like a 3D printed case. That said, using one of these, I'm going to have in the description 2 options, like a recommended and a budget. You can literally build this for half the price of any PlayStation. That's exactly what I'm using, like exactly, well, other than the controllers, but I'll have a good controller alternative listed there for you. And I don't see why not. I mean, it's easy. It took me, the only reason it took me like a day and a half was I had to image my own games because I wanted to do this legally. Even though the bias story is sort of iffy. I still consider this legal because I own those PlayStations, I own the models that I need biases from, so that's fine. So, in a nutshell, yes, you can certainly build a much better system than Sony did. Sony rushed the PlayStation Classic out of the door. They just pushed the thing out. They didn't put any effort into it. Even the packaging, I've watched some unboxings of it, and you can see that it's haphazard. It's a quick money grab for them to get some cash in, and I just don't get why they did this. Nintendo, when they did the NES Classic, this was aimed at the fans. It was aimed at fans of the original Nintendo system. Sure, they didn't make enough of them. They didn't anticipate how many fans there were. But that little system does exactly what it's supposed to do. Okay, it has a very good game list. Okay, and it works properly, and the controllers feel great. They use the right controllers. The fact that Sony used non-DualShock controllers to cut costs, the fact that there's a bad game selection, the fact that they use PCSX rearmed, which is the same as what I'm using here, the fact that half of it's PAL, half of it's NTSC, that destroys it. That just makes it not worth anything. It makes it worthless. So in my opinion, should you build one? I say yeah, go for it. Rather spend your money somewhere where they want your money. Sony just wants a cash grab. They just want something to push out of the door and get it sorted. And with this, it's not just PlayStation games. You can do NES, Super NES, Mega Drive, Master System, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, MAME arcade emulation, game ports like Doom and that sort of stuff. You can do all of that on one little device, and it doesn't look bad. This looks a million times better than Sony's version of it. To me, there just isn't a comparison. This is the right way to do it, and I would recommend everyone that wanted to buy like a PlayStation Classic, go out, get one of these, get the Raspberry Pi 3 Plus instead of this, and enable that high quality setting I showed you, because then all the games will look like that and all of them will be full speed. And go for it. What more is there to say? Sony, you messed up. You dropped the bomb. So yeah, as always, that's all from me, HP Zeta. Until next time. There isn't a shout out this week because the video is a bit rushed, but normal programming will resume. My December vacation is starting soon, and I will be doing videos throughout. I want to make sure I've got enough videos coming in, so at least like for the first quarter of 2019 that there'll be videos. I'm really looking forward to that, and we will see. Anyway, HP Zeta signing off. Until next time, cheerio. As of the YouTube apocalypse, none of my videos are monetized. If you enjoy my content, can you please consider supporting me either via Patreon, or if you just want to make a once-off donation, you can do so via Coffee. Both of those links are down in the description, and any support would greatly be appreciated.